AHIP is a required curriculum and test that Medicare agents are required to go through year in and year out if they wish to sell a majority of Medicare Advantage carriers and a majority of Part D prescription drug plan carriers, okay? And the new AHIP for 2025 is here. It actually just released at the end of June, and a majority of people have started to hear about this, and some people have actually taken the time to go through it. So in this video, I'm going to go through what do you need to know about it, what do you actually need to take if you want to still sell for the rest of 2024 going into 2025, and what are the keys that you need to know to pass the test the first time. Let's first start off with the rules when it comes to AHIP and kind of what the structure ends up looking like, okay? So AHIP is not free, first off. The normal price for AHIP is $175. Now, if you go through really any Medicare Advantage company in order to take your AHIP, and what I mean by this is you can log into a majority of Medicare Advantage companies' portals and be able to access the AHIP test through their portal, you will be given a $50 discount, which brings it down to $125 only for you. There are also FMOs that can give you coupon codes that will give you a $50 discount on your AHIP exam, but I typically would not recommend taking those. I would typically recommend going through one of the insurance companies that you intend to sell for. And the reason for this is because the FMOs use this AHIP discount as a way to get your information and be able to follow up with you, reach out to you, email you, call you, try to get you to contract with them. It's a funnel for them, right? And you're putting yourself right into the funnel. So do not do that, okay? Now, AHIP is a 5 curriculum exam followed by fraud, waste, and abuse test after the AHIP final exam. So the structure looks, you have 5 modules on the AHIP exam, all of which encompass a different category of things you need to cover in order to pass the final exam, okay? Now, the modules are going to be things like Medicare basics, compliance, sales and marketing rules, things along that nature. And at the end of each module, you will have the option, or I should say the requirement, of taking a review of that module in the form of a test. Now, some people just rush through these final tests at the end. I highly encourage you not to do that because these final tests, even though that you're not required to pass them like you are the final exam, you are going to find that the questions that are on these final tests at the end of the modules are the same questions that are going to be on your final exam. So the best thing for you to do is to first off, give it your best at these practice tests and make sure that you're able to pass them 100%. That means you're really going to be knowing the information, number one. And number two, it's the same questions that are actually on the test. So if you save them, store them away, you'll be able to reference them back on the final exam. Okay, now some of these modules are not actually going to make you go through the actual presentation and the slides in order to get to the final exam at the end of the module, or I should say the review test at the end of the module. Some will require you to go through them all, some will not. Some of the earlier ones are just going to allow you, if you want, to skip through and get all the way to the end. Usually what that means is there's really not much that's changed from the previous year. So if you're a seasoned agent, you might not need to go through all that stuff. You know all this information and you can skip right to the end and do the review test. Okay. Now, when it comes to your actual final exam, when it comes to AHIP, it is timed. You have a 2-hour time limit in order to complete it. You also have to get a 90% or above. It is a 50-question test. What this means is you cannot miss more than 5 questions. If you miss 6, you're out. If you miss 5, you're good. You just barely made it. And you have to get, so essentially you have to get a 90% or above, okay? You also get 3 attempts in order to pass AHIP. Now, I get this question all the time. What happens if I fail the test 3 times? Well, it's going to come down to the carrier, okay? The exact insurance company you're looking to sell for. Some will allow you, and it will be all right for you to purchase AHIP a second time and get another 3 tries and you're all good. This video is sponsored by none other than Lead Heroes, you guys. Lead Heroes is going to be your one-stop shop when it comes to your Medicare and final expense needs. People ask me all the time, Christian, what type of lead is going to be the best quality for me to work? And I don't really quite know if the answer is going to be a digital marketing lead, a direct mail lead, or a telemarketed lead, but I can say that a telemarketed lead is going to be up there with the best of them in terms of quality. A telemarketed lead has unique quality to it because there's a live person that actually speaks to the prospective customer and gets their verbal consent that they're interested and willing to speak with a licensed agent just like you. Whether it be a pre-scheduled Medicare appointment with a scope of appointment captured and then scheduled on your calendar 48 hours out, or whether it be a custom calling campaign where you call the shots, where your scripts are used, where it's the areas of your choosing, when it's the times of the day that you're choosing. Custom calling is where you pay by the hour, and essentially it's a custom campaign built to your liking. Lead Heroes has got you covered for all of these unique type of marketing needs for agents. There's a link down in the description of this video about Lead Heroes. You can learn more about these incredibly unique lead generation services, and I think you'll want to check it out today so you can continue to grow and explode your business. Other insurance companies and other carriers will not allow you to sell their products, their Medicare Advantage or their Part D prescription drug plan products, until the next selling season. Okay, so until next AHIP comes out in June of 2025 for 2026. Okay, so it is highly in your best interest to get it passed in the first 3 times. And realistically, you don't want to take this thing more than once. So let's focus on getting you through it the first time. So what are the keys you actually have to know in order to pass it the first time? Well, keep this in mind, guys. This is an open book test. So many people make it out to be the boogeyman, myself included when I was a new agent, when I was younger. But what I've come to learn over the years after taking this for over 10 years is it's not that difficult. If you don't know the answers, it means you don't know that much about Medicare. And in addition to that, when you don't know that much about Medicare, the best thing to do is to study up and go through the modules and go through them a second time, go through the review questions. Those are literally the best practice because they're the same questions that are on the final exam. Not to mention, as I said, this is an open book test. So when you understand that this is an open book test, you can cross-reference back to the answers and the questions that you ran into in the review questions, and you'll find a lot of them to be the same questions on the final exam. Okay, now when it comes to fraud, waste, and abuse, it is not hard either. You don't have to get as high of a score as the 90%. You can get a little bit of a lower score to pass, and you have unlimited attempts to pass the fraud, waste, and abuse. So it is not difficult whatsoever. I did my AHIP yesterday. I got a 98%. Last couple years, I got 100, so I broke my streak. I missed one question, but I did the entire thing from start to finish, starting at the very beginning of Module 1, all the way through getting to the end of fraud, waste, and abuse in about an hour and 45 minutes total going through everything. Okay, so you guys can do this. This is not that hard. And yes, it is required, and it's a yearly requirement to sell Medicare Advantage and Part D prescription drug plans. If you've been selling for a while, let's say you did it last year for the first time, you might ask yourself, what happens if I don't retake it this year? Well, any business that you've gotten for any insurance companies that require AHIP, and a majority of them do, you will lose your business. You'll lose your renewals, you'll lose your clients. So just take it and get it over with is my suggestion, okay? Now, when can you actually start selling? Because people get confused about this all the time, right? They ask themselves, do I need to take 2024 AHIP and 2025 AHIP if I want to sell the rest of this year and going into AEP for 2025? The short answer is no. Once the new AHIP exam is out, the 2024 version or the previous year's version is not even available anymore. And when you pass this current version of AHIP, it allows you to sell, you have to go through more certifications for the different insurance companies you want to sell for. Those don't cost anything, but it's a similar process to AHIP. But once you've gone through all of the certification processes, you're able to sell now going into the end of this year and also going into next year. It actually allows you to have selling privileges until the end of September of next year of 2025. So understand that if you've waited till now, you haven't done anything yet, you just have to take it once and you can sell from now going forward up until the beginning of AEP of next selling season. Okay. So anyway, guys, what do you guys think about AHIP? Is it easy? Is it not easy? What do you think? Comment your thoughts down below. And also any questions you have about the exam, we're happy to answer it. AHIP is not the boogeyman. It's not nearly as difficult as people make it out to be. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, the best thing you can do for us is to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It's going to help so many more agents like you who are struggling with this test that don't know this information to find it easier in search engines. Also subscribe. We put out weekly videos to help you grow your business. And make sure to comment again your thoughts down below. We'd love to have interaction with you. Thank you so much for watching. Here's to your success and your abundance. And here's to crushing that AHIP test the first time. Thanks, guys.